This is the Golden Voice, Ted Williams, and you are listening to Carl Hamburger on WATP.
Thank you, Ted Williams. Thank you guys for making this happen, because tickets have been moving ever since those promos started. We're down to a few dozen tickets remaining. WATPlive.com. That's awesome.
Ted's a draw. He is. Ted's fun. I mean, we've had him on the show.
Even Dr. Steve, who's going to be at the show, told me I just want to get my photo taken with Ted Williams. The Golden Voice.
It's great.
We'll see.
It makes no sense, but
We'll see. I think Dr. Phil had somebody on his staff that said the same thing.
I swear to God, I know I would want to get my picture taken with him too. That's the thing. He would definitely be a draw for me, as silly as that might seem. And he is a great guy. And I loved his talk show. I missed the Ted Williams Minute we used to have.
Awesome.
But Carl, okay, I have to admit, I'm completely lost on Stuttering John now. I've completely lost track of the whole plot. I don't know what's going on anymore.
Well, John is now doing a show 5 days a week. He went from not being on the internet to being on the internet way too much. 3 hours a day, 5 or 6 days a week. And he's doing these shows now. They're all kind of the same, but they all have different names. And he just launched a new show. I posted a video about it today. It's called Why Do They Podcast? So on Thursdays, he does a show just making fun of me specifically.
How flattering.
On Tuesdays, he makes fun of Shuley. Thursdays, he makes fun of me.
Are these shows effective? Are they well done and well produced?
When I tell you, Drew, when I was watching him try to do what I do, it was unbelievable how inept he is at this format. But I knew he would be. I was rooting for him to come back and try to do this because he's so bad at it. It's amazing.
Does he do prep? Does he cut up the show, or does he just sit there and talk about Carl?
So what he does is he relies on subreddits mostly. And he goes to a subreddit. So he loves going on Shuley's Anonymous and this other one called Hackverse. And he goes on there and he finds either videos or different posts people put up there. And then he'll play the video and he'll just repeat whatever somebody said that he doesn't like and laugh at them.
Lazy.
Or he'll read comments and disagree with everything that he agrees with. It's terrible.
I saw a clip of Cardiff on Stuttering John's show. I'm like, what is going on? This is turning into the Housewives of Beverly Hills or something. Isn't it kind of, sort of?
This floating animated potato, if people don't know who Cardiff Electric is. No. This guy decided to use this like Snapchat filter to become a potato, and now he's on with Opie regularly. He's on with Stuttering John. Just on with Stuttering John again today. He's on with him all the time. He's on WATP every episode.
There's a sock puppet too named Tukey.
Oh yeah, Tukey.
It's hilarious.
Tukey's very funny. Yeah, Tukey's really funny.
What a universe.
The guy who does the Tukey is actually immensely talented, has great timing, very funny guy. I think Tukey's going to take over the entire Dabbleverse, I think.
But I don't understand why all these people, they're really mad at them, and then they're not mad at them, and then they're mad at them, and then they're on a show with them, and then they're getting super chats with them, and I'm serious when I say it feels like the Housewives of the Dabbleverse.
I got to give credit to Cardiff Electric because he's trolling John, but he does it in such a subtle way that John doesn't always know it. So it's very funny when he's on the show with him, because I think Cardiff is Team WATP if I had to guess.
Look at that picture.
Yeah, that's from Carl's stream today.
The potato with the headphones on next to Stuttering John. And who's the character in the middle?
So that's like his drinking buddy, Dave, from the pub, and he's been on the show regularly, not lately, too.
Is he as effective as John?
Well, I think Dave might also be trolling John subtly. It's hard to tell.
Oh, no. Not his friend.
Yeah. I don't know if John is a friend of the world, to be honest.
Okay. Well, we have a lot to cover. Do you want to start with Bill Maher, or are we going to start with the Taylor and Taylor show, the squeeze?
Oh, let's start with the squeeze, because you said this to me last week.
Do you agree with me, Carl, that it's terrible?
Oh, it's worse than terrible. So here we have another celebrity podcast. Mm-hmm. It's Tay and Taylor Lautner. So if you want to know who that is, they refer to themselves as Boy Taylor and Girl Taylor. And of course, Taylor Lautner was the Jacob Black, a werewolf in Twilight. Brandon, have you seen Twilight? And if so, what does cum taste like?
I've never seen a single Twilight movie, but I do know this actor from that franchise.
I thought you were going to say, do you know what cum tastes like?
A little salty.
No, I've really never seen it, I swear.
All right. So this guy is obviously his wife wants to be a celebrity.
Yes.
So Taylor's going, all right, we'll do a show. We'll make you famous. We'll do whatever it takes. So that's kind of the premise that I'm seeing. I'm reading between the lines here.
Totally, Carl. I totally agree. We'll get you a little career going.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Let me read from the website called lemonsbytay.com. Oh. This is the tagline for the show. It says, when life gives you lemons, what do you do with them? Over here at the Squeeze, we talk about it. Okay, not a great tagline. But then there's an explanation of the tagline. Strap in, everybody. So, quote unquote, it being our mental health and well-being. Host Taylor Lautner's, no, not that guy, but she is married to that guy. Introduction to mental health was at a young age, witnessing friends and family suffer in ways she couldn't fully understand. She started a nursing career in the peak of the pandemic and has been struggling with her own mental health ever since. Tay is joined by co-host husband Taylor Lautner, in addition to celebrity and expert guests, to further the conversation surrounding mental wellness. At the end of the day, we're all pretty similar. Even those living in the limest of lights can be weighed down by sour lemons.
Oh, Jesus.
In addition to sharing coping strategies and stories, we hope that above all, this podcast offers the comfort of knowing you are not alone. Finally, a podcast is telling me I'm not alone with my mental health.
Well, the podcast I listened to, they had just gone and been backstage at the Taylor Swift concert, so I don't know how relatable that was.
Oh, yeah. No, this episode is amazing because what we're going to find out. So Taylor Lautner, the actor, Boy Taylor,
yes.
let me say, Boy Tay, used to date Taylor Swift.
Oh,
now,
blonde girl.
Now he's married to another Taylor, so there's a lot of Taylors involved. So it gets very confusing here.
And Taylor Swift is blonde girl Taylor.
Yes,
for the show.
Blonde girl Taylor.
Yes.
There's Boy Taylor, girl Taylor, and then blonde girl Taylor. And girl Taylor is a giant Swiftie. Wearing the Taylor Swift shirt on. She's all excited about this.
Wait, even though her husband nailed Taylor Swift? Or did he nail her?
They do get into that.
Do they?
Yes, but I want to start at the beginning.
He's so soft. He probably just got a second base over the sweater or something, I bet.
Just gosh, smash it in.
If he put his lips on a nipple, I'd be surprised.
I'd be shocked. I'd be disappointed in Taylor.
Which one?
Blonde girl Taylor.
Oh, okay.
Okay. All right, so my track number one is where I want to start off because they're introducing their show and listen to what they call their listeners. Now, remember, the Squeeze, it's all citrus related. There's a lot of puns going on.
Why
today.
is it citrus related? I don't understand.
Happy Wednesday or whatever day it is. Lemon drops. And thank you for joining us today on The Squeeze. We are honored to have you.
Yes, very honored.
Today's going to be an exciting day.
So exciting. Oh my gosh.
Where do we start?
I mean, we have some very special guests today. It's your guys' favorite guests that we've had.
Mine too.
Yeah. Potentially also mine.
Who are we having today?
Us.
It's us.
Again, we're back.
We're your guests.
We are it.
Like it or not.
Yeah. So sorry in advance if you're not happy about that one.
I think you're going to like it because we got some juicy things to talk about.
All the juice.
And
all the squeeze juice.
Does this sound like sweaty balls a little bit?
I would have just started over. Just start that over. They were meandering. They had nothing to say.
Lemon Drops. Their fan base is the same name as Tom Masway's daughter's Little League team.
Carl, did you notice how hard he pushes his voice?
She does too.
He's really trying to have the deep, big radio voice.
They're so low energy, Drew. It's almost like they're apologizing for being celebrities. That's kind of the what I take away from this. Because if you watch this guy, when he comes out at the Taylor Swift concert, and we'll talk about this in a little bit, but they brought him out and he's doing backflips out of the stage.
Yeah, I saw
and
that.
And then he gets on his podcast, he's just like, yeah, so today we're going to be, hey, Lemon Drops, thanks for dropping by. We're going to be squeezing some citrus. It's like, what is going on? Who would watch this?
No one.
Get excited. You're doing a show. You're on a show. Get excited.
He's trying to be so cool too. By the way, these subtle citrus references all over just not only the audio, but then there's a lemon tree and a yellow pitcher. It's like, I don't understand why. What am I missing here? Why?
Because life gives you lemons. It's about mental health, Mark. What aren't you following here?
There was nothing about mental health in that open.
No, they very rarely talk about mental health in this episode.
No, not at all.
Exactly.
They talk about what big time celebrities they are, pretty much. What a great life they live.
But aren't they so cute together, though? Aren't they so quirky and cute? They're like, hey, who's our guest today? Oh, it's our favorite guest. It's us. Wee.
No, it sounds, Carl, isn't it just so fake and so simple and so cliche?
Yeah. These are people, I can imagine, we covered recently, I think you guys talked about this, Howard Stern had a dinner party for his wife, Beth. It was her birthday. And they had all these celebrities over, and then Howard went on the radio. This is the conversation I expect to have with these types of high-end celebrities, where they just love the smell of their own farts and sit around just going, are we quirky and fun? Like, no, you're annoying and boring.
Oh yeah, that Stern show when they broke into XM with all of his dinner party guests was just horrible. It was so bad.
So
Once again, it's all so unrelatable.
Yeah, very, very much.
All right, so they do segments on this show. I'll give them credit for that. They got some segments. Let's talk about the first segment, my track number 2 here.
Should we kick this episode off quickly with a Citrus Got Real question? Because we always forget to do it. And today I didn't forget. So I think we just should.
Yeah, great. Let's do it.
Then just do it.
For our first time listeners, we start each episode with a segment called Citrus Got Real. And I am going to pull a question, a random fun question.
Oh, God, I hate this.
Out of this lemon jar.
Oh, Jesus.
This bit is so tired.
Boring.
Do you guys get the pun on that?
Slow down.
Citrus Got Real?
You know what's really funny? I thought it was still going while he was paused
I did
with
too.
his hand in there because it moves so slow. I thought the cut was still going.
They're the sloths of podcasting, it seems. Everything's very slow here.
They feel so uncomfortable with each other. I mean, I'm just terribly uncomfortable with, like, it's like they're two people playing spouses in a play or something.
Yes, right. And they're not good at it.
No.
And I hate the idea of fun questions. Okay, that's not a thing. There's no such thing as fun facts, no such thing as fun questions. These things aren't fun. But let's find out what they think is a fun question. My track number 3, this is the question he pulls out, and you're going to see the full answer, too.
Oh, great.
Which vegetable is the meanest?
None,
Oh.
because they're vegetables.
Broccoli was the first one that came to mind. I don't know why.
Because you're an idiot.
Broccoli the bully?
Great answer.
Yeah, like a big head of broccoli.
Uh-huh.
Or cauliflower.
No.
No, cauliflower is sweet.
I would think cauliflower
Cuddly.
would be sweet.
Cuddly cauliflower.
I definitely agree with the broccoli. I like broccoli,
Yeah.
but well,
Oh my God.
yeah, broccoli the bully just it makes
I
sense.
think they're killing it too.
You know what would make it great is if they had their heart rate up on the screen at the time so you can watch how low it's going.
This looks like a first date to me.
By the way,
Right? They're
to
trying
that
to feel
point,
each other out like, all right, let's start with some fun questions. What's a mean vegetable?
to that point, don't you think Boy Taylor could do a little better than Girl Taylor? Just saying. No? Anybody?
I don't know. The career
She's pretty
path.
cute.
The career path is.
But oh, she's so awkward with him. Oh my God.
Mark, you're right. And I'll tell you
Thank
why,
you.
because I do think she's cute. But having watched her for an hour, I despise this woman.
But I can't stand him. He's not worthy.
So the second segment is called Tea Time with Tay. And this is where they talk about what's going on in their lives. And this is pretty much the rest of the show is the second segment.
Great.
Because what happened was Boy Taylor was in Taylor Swift's newest music video. And so because of that, they did a show in St. Louis, Taylor Swift did. And in front of 70,000 Swifties, she premiered the music video and everyone went nuts. And then she brought out all the celebrities that were in the music video, including Boy Taylor. So my track number 4, Boy Taylor is going to explain how amazing Taylor Swift was at this concert, how amazing this concert was. They were backstage. They couldn't believe it. But he has zero energy explaining how amazing this experience was.
I mean, Friday in Kansas City was an insane, magical day.
Yeah.
Just in general, it was one of the coolest experiences, and I've experienced
Sounds like
some
vocal
cool
fry.
things,
Yeah.
Oh God.
but I don't know what compares to that evening.
Yeah.
It was really, really special.
Certainly not when you met Girl Taylor.
And my apologies to me. St. Louis and Kansas City are the same place, so I apologize if people didn't understand that.
Yeah, I didn't even notice.
Yeah, so he goes on to say what an amazing genius she is, and he's like, but what's crazy about it is that she's also so humble. I just can't get over how humble this giant celebrity is, and she's such a genius. And then Girl Tay says, all right, because she got to meet Taylor, and she goes, well, I'm going to use an adjective I've never used for another human being in my life. She goes, Taylor Swift is collaborative. The band. Of course she's collaborative. She's putting on a giant show that takes hundreds, if not thousands of people to put on. Yes, you need to be a little bit collaborative to do that.
Is that how
She's been waiting all her life to use that word.
Is that how she wanted it to be used, or was she thinking of a different word? Does she know the definition?
I wasn't sure when I heard it, Mark. I honestly didn't know what was going on. I was so confused.
Well, because they were trying to make it seem like Taylor is such a genius and such a boss that she doesn't need anyone else. She could pull everything off that she does all by herself, even though if you watch this video, and I did, it's very well produced. There's these crazy choreographed fight scenes and things. I highly doubt that Taylor Swift is putting together the choreography for this stuff.
No.
Maybe she is. I don't know. I'm not a fan. I'm not a Swiftie. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, Swift.
All right. I'm not a Swiftie. Is that what you're asking me?
Surprised.
So the other person in this video is Joey King. Do you know who Joey King is?
No.
I don't.
Joey King is the star of the Kissing Booth movie series. And Brandon, have you seen the Kissing Booth movies?
No, I haven't, and I don't know what that tastes like either.
I was curious. All right, so my track number 5. So Tay is describing Taylor Swift explaining the music video. And she's using the same type of energy that I would use if I was describing reuniting with relatives at a funeral.
But getting to see, you and Joey together, rescuing Taylor.
Yeah.
And just the whole story behind the video and the story.
Yeah.
Why she picked who was in the video. It's just
She thinks about everything.
It's very full circle and very just, it was very tender. It was just like a sweet thing.
Yeah.
And Uncle Bob's not doing great, but it was just so good to see him again. It's been so long, and him and Judy are still going strong. That's great.
Yeah.
No energy.
Yeah.
It's really weird.
It's so bizarre. I don't know. They don't realize they're on a show, or I don't know what they're watching and thinks that's what a show is. So my track number 6 is where we get into how Girl Tay wants to be a celebrity so badly. They go on and on. I'm sparing you guys a lot of these clips. They go on and on about how amazing this experience was being at this concert and being with the Swifties. And this was the big takeaway for Girl Tay.
Number 6?
Yes.
Okay.
Didn't you have somebody come up to you and say that they were a lemon drop?
I did. Some girl who was so kind came up and she was like, I just have to tell you, I'm a lemon drop.
Fake.
That literally means more to me than anything.
Yeah.
Likewise.
That means the
Likewise.
world. So whoever you were, thank you very much. But it was one of the highlights of my night. Obviously the video and everything was great, but that was really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Knowing that someone is a lemon drop, and also knowing that that name is sticking and that we approve the lemon drop name
Yeah.
as our community.
Says is
You're so smart.
Yeah.
It's almost like ASMR.
How much did Boy Taylor pay somebody to go say that to her? Like $100.
Way to make it about yourself, Girl Taylor. You got your husband who's in the music video, went up on stage, is doing backflips on stage. It's a big thing. You got the Taylor Swift concert, and she goes, and I met a single fan. Okay, weird takeaway.
And who is the loser that went up to her and said, I'm a lemon drop? Oh my God, you got sucked into that stupid, lame bit. Are you kidding me? That's ridiculous.
Listen, you're calling her a loser. She probably suffers from mental health issues.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I mean, did you even consider that when you called her a loser?
I didn't. No, I'm sorry. I apologize.
The big platform that we're on, and Kansas City might be listening. So,
Or St. Louis.
or St. Louis, for that matter. I don't know. People travel to go to shows. All right. So now, Boy Taylor is he's going to just praise his wife here, and you can tell that she needs it.
While we're still on this topic,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people online, not I think, I know a lot of people online have been praising you for just like how cool you are with the situation, I guess. Just like how understanding and trusting and whatever.
Because he nailed Taylor Swift.
Ultimately, just like how chill you are about, you know, you meeting, hanging with an ex of mine that I'm working with and us all hanging together. Like, what would you say? How are you able to do that?
Because it's Taylor Swift, right?
What a powerful moment that was.
She's a Swiftie. She has been for a long time. She might have married this guy because of that.
Yeah, exactly.
Because what happens is, and they talk about this after that, it turns out that there's a photo of girl Taylor and blonde girl Taylor Swift from 2010. So she actually met her somehow. And then there's also a photo of girl Taylor wearing a Twilight shirt when she was 9. So this woman who's getting everything she wants in life, now she has a personal relationship with Taylor Swift. She's married to the guy in Twilight, the thing that she loved when she was a little kid, and she's hosting a mental health podcast. She's living the charmed fucking life. Disney couldn't write stories like this.
Imagine how cool you'd be if your wife had dated, I don't know, Jim Kelly. Wouldn't you be best friends with Jim Kelly or Thurman Thomas?
Oh my God. I'd be like, oh, is Jim going to come around? Fuck that guy. I don't like that guy.
I'd have a pile of stuff from the side.
I got to say this about...
If Julie nailed Tom Brady before me, I would be besties with him.
My wife can go bang Josh Allen right now.
I have to say, I have never thought less of Taylor Swift than I do now, knowing that she went out with this guy. That is so fucking weird.
Yeah, but she's a weirdo.
She's dating everyone.
Yeah.
Can you imagine listening to him, though? Yeah. I mean, he's pushing his voice constantly. The only thing he likes better than hearing his own voice is smelling his own farts. And it's close. It's close.
The other thing, too, I should point out here is that they dated back in 2009 for a month. So this is another lifetime ago that this even happened. Taylor, I think, was like 17 or something like that.
Was he bigger than her at the time? Was he in Twilight?
Those movies were big, yeah.
Okay, so maybe she was climbing a little bit.
Heartthrob.
My 9-year-old is really into Taylor Swift right now, and she went to the library yesterday and got 3 Taylor Swift books. You know, kid books.
Oh, boy.
And so she wanted me to read one to her, and I'm reading it, and she's like, and this song was about, she wrote it about Joe Jonas of the Jonas Brothers. And like, that was the end of the book. And I just turned to Shar and go, if this book was current, there'd be about 20 more chapters of that. And she's like, what do you mean? I'm like, most of her songs are about her boyfriend. So I looked to see, when was this book published? 2010. 2010? Why don't we just read your Wikipedia page?
That's a lot of wieners ago.
Yes.
Well, that's interesting you say that, because she did write a song about Taylor, and it's one of the only positive songs about an ex-boyfriend.
Oh, God.
Oh, please. Do we know that for sure?
Well, then why were they together only a month?
I feel like, probably because he's gay. All right. I feel like what we're not focusing on mental health enough.
Yeah.
So what they do near the end of the show is they did a pre-recorded interview with Dr. Chase Anderson. And I'm going to play for you guys the setup and then the very beginning of this interview, because I love the transition where she says, I hope you guys really enjoy this. they're getting you psyched up for it, and then find out what the content actually is in track 8.
Oh, no.
I hope you guys enjoy this. It's super helpful. He's great. And, you know, we're just honored to have sat down and talked with him. But as we head into these next few episodes, I think it's going to be great.
Yeah.
Well, Chase, let's just get right into it. I think a good place to start would literally be, like, by definition, what is suicidal ideation?
Yeah, so suicidal ideation comes in many different forms for different people.
What?
I hope everyone really enjoys this. We're talking about suicidal ideation with Dr. Chase Anderson.
I'm so geeked. Oh, my God.
I mean,
boring. Although I like that her rack is more present in that other outfit she has on for this. That's the only thing I was able to pay attention to.
Not appropriate, Drew. We're talking about suicidal ideation over here. Not appropriate.
So is it appropriate to talk about the doctor's hair, by the way, which, he's a black guy with a tuft of red hair dyed in the front, blonde, and he's got a hula hoop on.
Looks like Rufio from Hook.
Green in there too, I think.
But why does he have a hula hoop behind him? I don't understand these mental health things anymore and what people use.
I don't think he's a doctor.
He's just her friend.
I don't see any degree.
Drew, I am going to prove that he definitely has credentials on this because he gives out some really great advice. We're going to talk about how to recognize if someone might be suicidal about Track 9 here.
Okay.
You always want to think also about, like, has somebody gone through a history of a recent traumatic event? Have they lost a relative? Have they lost a relative to suicide or a friend?
Yeah.
Have they had some other big major life shift? Because even things like finances or like a recent breakup, those can be things that can cause somebody to become more depressed or anxious. And then suicidal ideation can come out of that as well.
So in other words, if their life's a bummer, they might be thinking about suicide. Hey, Bill, I noticed your life's a bummer and you seem to be listening to the Smiths on purpose. Do you need to talk to someone? Is everything all right? What kind of advice is that?
It just seems like common sense, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I don't see a degree behind that guy. I don't believe he's a doctor.
Every doctor hangs their degrees behind them.
I could have come up with that answer easily.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm starting to think psychiatry isn't that difficult a field to get into. I could be wrong.
Yeah, it does seem like when you hear about mental health, it's a lot of the same old stuff over and over and over.
Every celebrity who podcasts has to podcast about mental health or interview their friends. Those are the two things that you can do when you're a celebrity podcaster. Just once, I want someone to flaunt how rich they are, how amazing their lifestyle is. I would listen to that show.
Yeah. Yeah, an entourage type.
Different.
They could call it FOMO. And they just be like, hey, guess what I did all weekend? Partied with other celebrities, and we fucking crushed it.
I lived a better life than you did.
Yeah, right. That I would listen to.
Well, that's why Entourage was probably popular, because it looked like fun.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Instead of bossing people around, telling people what to think and what to do.
What does that spawn? How you live in J. Piven, which is not interesting at all.
No, it didn't work.
That sucks.
Worst show name ever.
So bad.
So you talked about this briefly on the show the other day, where on Bill Maher's show, and I've been saying this, when I first checked out Club Random, I didn't know what to make of it. I'm like, it's dark. They're getting drunk and high. I don't know what's going on here. I'm starting to think, though, that Bill Maher is really doing what Howard Stern used to do really well in the 90s and the early 2000s, where he puts people at ease and gets them to say crazy things they would not normally talk about on a show.
I agree with that.
Yeah. So I've been enjoying it. And he recently had Riley Gaines on his show. And he wants to know how big Leah Thomas's cock is. And we all do, obviously. But I love the way, not only does he ask, he's persistent about it. So my track number 10 is the first time he brings it up.
How big is her cock? You've seen her cock, right?
We all did.
Well, how big is it? I mean, what kind of a cock is it? Describe her cock.
Let's see.
Well, I don't want to see it. I just wanted to hear it.
Well, if I had to see it, you have to hear it.
It's a great question. I have to give him that.
Yes.
People want to know the answer to that because we know that it's swinging around in the locker room.
And the answer was it's huge, right?
Well,
spoiler alert.
She does not want to answer this question. And he really pushes on it. But first, my track number 11, we get to know a little bit about Riley Gaines. Now, Riley Gaines was a swimmer at the University of Kentucky. She was on the same swim team, I guess, with Leah Thomas. So she's going to make it clear where she stands on this topic.
First of all, this is a 6'4" man, right?
Well, a trans woman.
A male.
Okay, this is what she would claim. And she does go through life as a woman, correct? Like
a woman with male parts.
Yeah, right. I know. I'm just trying to paint the portrait.
Okay, wait, I'll be frank here. I don't use she, her pronouns when referring to Thomas, and I call it a male. I think even using the term trans woman is giving Thomas some of our language as women. And I think trans woman is a subset of male. I do not believe trans women are women. And so I'm saying that up front on the record.
No, I'm basically on that page.
So props to Bill Maher, and I've been saying this for a while because Bill Maher is a Democrat. He's a lefty, but he isn't so crazy. He just agrees with everything that all the other crazy liberals believe in. It's like, well, that person who's 6'4" with a cock is not a
and should not be changing next to women. That's ridiculous.
Right. It's ridiculous.
It's insane.
And so Bill Maher's not afraid to say it. And I appreciate that. And of course, now we know where Riley Gaines stands on this topic. And she's the one in the locker room. So I know that's going to piss a lot of people off that she says that. But she's the one who's being intimidated by this cock coming out next to her.
Yeah. And when she speaks publicly about it, she gets chased by trans people protesters who want to spit on her and punch her. And I mean, utter madness takes place.
It is interesting how violent these people could be, isn't it?
Yeah.
So my track number 12, I love that Bill Maher steers the conversation right back to, all right, but you haven't answered the question yet.
I forget what the original question was, but I think it's describe that cock.
I was trying to run away from this question. Okay, 6'4" male.
Yeah, but
use your imagination.
That does not mean a big cock. Cock size is not ever usually. I know from women who.
Are you about to?
No, but I know girls who have dated like 7-footers.
Right.
And the 7-footer sometimes has a very small penis. Just because this person is 6'4" doesn't mean they've got a great big Johnson.
Good to know.
Yes, I know. I love that he goes, all right, let's get back to the cock, though. We need to talk about the cock. We're not talking enough about the cock over here. Let's get into it. So my last check, 13, he asks one more time and tries to get to the bottom of it. But what we're going to find out is that, and I'm surprised by this, Bill Maher has done zero prep or research for his guest on this show.
But what was it big?
That was a situation I tried to refrain from looking at entirely. Naturally, we all did.
You can't unsee it. You saw it.
We can unsee it. Being in that space with a male, it's like a bad car wreck, right?
Now, what space was this? You were in
our locker room.
The locker room.
Yeah.
Where were you?
We were at Georgia Tech. This was our national championships, which is of course the meet.
Is that your home turf, Georgia?
Not my home turf.
Oh.
Kentucky.
How does he not know what school it is? Yeah, Thompson's at.
Well, Leah was at Penn. Riley went to Kentucky. They changed at the NCAA championships.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, they weren't on the same team. They competed against each other.
Plus, he's high, and it's his second show.
Yeah, whatever.
It's his kind of his second gig.
Yeah.
That makes sense then. So I guess the takeaway for me anyway is that, yes, it was a very big cock.
Yes, no doubt.
That's what matters, yeah.
Absolutely. And I'm not surprised either. But, wouldn't you think that what's Leah Thomas? Wouldn't you think that Leah Thomas would not want to change with the women who don't have penises?
No, because Leah wants to nail them. Remember, Leah Thomas is a lesbian.
Yeah, but Leah Thomas is supposed to be this really evolved person that's discovered he's a she and would be so sensitive to their feelings until his penis gets removed or her penis gets. I can't even talk about this. It's too confusing.
Oh, you know what, Drew? Here's the deal. Here's what I think is going on. I think maybe because you're making a lot of good points, you're making a lot of sense. Maybe Leah Thomas needs to listen to the Squeeze. Wow.
Yeah.
I don't think that she's understanding how this works.
I can't get over how obnoxious Taylor Lautner sounds. That he is that vocal fry. I thought it was just that he was trying to have a deep voice, but he's got vocal fry too. And he's so aware of his voice. I'm just really surprised it could be that bad. But I think the idea is just to get his wife some props online occasionally for just somebody out there to say, oh, my God, your wife is so adorable. So she can feel something good about herself.
Except if that was the case, wouldn't he set her up with somebody else to do the podcast with? Why does he want to? He has to talk to her anyway. Why does he want to do a podcast?
Because he can draw people.
He's a big name. Yeah.
He can suck people.
Maybe he's matching her energy. Maybe that's the way she talks, and that's why he's doing that. I don't know.
Well, that's weird. So, Carl, I'm glad to hear that the show is doing well. People are buying tickets.
Yes, I'm looking forward.
Excellent.
September 15th, we'll be at the Magic Bag And the Drew and Mike show will be there. WATP will be there. Ted Williams will be there.
Amen.
Drew
And,
Lane.
WATPlive.com is where you can go to purchase your tickets for that. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Cool. Anything else on the agenda? What's going on with who are these podcasts, who are these socials? Anything special this week?
I'm going to make a big announcement. I have not announced yet. I'll announce it here because I saw in Brandon's prep. I don't know if you've covered this yet, though. This Orioles announcer.
Yeah.
You guys talked about that already?
Yeah.
So
just a little bit.
We did a pilot episode. Myself and Christian Blatt did a pilot episode of Who Are These Broadcasters? It's a new show under the Who Are These umbrella, where we analyze broadcasters all over, sports broadcasters, local news, weathermen, national politics, all the different types of broadcasters that are out there. Well, I'm happy to say we are going to be launching the show, and I got one Eric Zane on board.
All right.
So Eric Zane and Christian Blatt both have a ton of broadcasting experience. They both been in radio. Of course, Eric Zane's also an announcer. So that's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to launch that a week from today, which is actually Tuesday the 15th, I think 3 p.m. Eastern on the Who Are These Podcasts YouTube channel. But that's going to be a new show that we're going to be doing.
Nice.
Carl, you put the pilot out on the Patreon, right?
Correct.
Yeah,
Yes.
I heard it. It's good. It's fun. I mean, it's a great. Unless you guys really fumble it and get bored with it or something, it's going to be great because there's just so much to talk about.
Well, right. And there's a lot of different segments. There's a lot of different things that we're looking at, and we move quickly. It's not a show where we're going to sit there and dwell on someone missing a home run call for 30 minutes. You know, we'll hit it, we'll laugh about it, and then we'll move on to something else that's going on. And sometimes it's newsworthy stuff, you know, what Tucker Carlson's up to, things like that. And other times it's just, a weatherman doesn't know how to work his touchscreen equipment behind him.
No, there's just so much of that online too. I mean, I was kind of jealous of the idea, honestly. I thought, those guys they've got a lot of gold ahead in that podcast.
I can't wait for the AJ Clemente episode.
Absolutely.
All right, Drew, since you're twisting my arm, I'll allow you to be third mic on Who Are These Broadcasters. I can tell that's what you're going for here.
I would be a great third mic on that show. Wouldn't I be the fourth mic, though?
Well, yeah, I'd be fourth. I'd give you the third.
Oh, thank you, Carl.
You're welcome, buddy.
No, I listened to it
for you.
I listened to it and I liked it. I absolutely did. And Who Are These Socials is going great too. Are you going to have planned banter on Who Are These Broadcasters like you do on Who Are These Socials?
I don't think so. That's a good question, though, because our banter between Blind Mike and me is world famous.
Yeah, it's famous. It's legendary.
It is something very specific to that show. I mean, once you organize banter, I think it's hard to organize it for another show, or at least name it banter.
Right. Because it's so natural the way that Blind Mike and I get into it. Can't even tell we're doing it.
I'm looking forward to it this Thursday night. All right, Carl, thanks so much. And we'll continue to plug September the 15th with WATP and the Drew and Mike Show at the Magic Bag with Ted Williams.
Also, quick programming note, actually, Blind Mike's going on vacation, so we're doing the show 10 a.m. This Thursday, Who Are These Socials? And the current episode of Who Are These Podcasts, it's available right now, wherever you get podcasts, or whoarethese.com, is called That's Offensive, and it's one of these shows where OnlyFans girls are so vile that you never want to see them naked or doing anything sexual.
It was horrible. I watched it.
It's
very funny.
What's wrong with these women? This woman's talking about the discharge coming out of her vagina being free. Oh, they're supposed to pay for your OnlyFans?
I know. And the first clip was basically the OnlyFans girl, asking the two guys about their cocks and them describing their cocks for 5 minutes. Like, what is this? This is not for me.
And then they're telling chlamydia stories. I couldn't believe it. They go, I've had chlamydia 3 times. I have some really funny stories about chlamydia. I'm like, how are there funny chlamydia stories? What's going on right now?
Wasn't there some super strain that somebody got, like the minute they plunged in, they got the chlamydia and they knew it as soon as they went to the bathroom or something?
There was the guy who got the Instacure. He had chlamydia, so he got the Instacure. And then he picked up a girl at the hospital while he got the Instacure, nailed her before the medicine kicked in. It kicked in, cleaned him out, and then he nailed her in the morning and got chlamydia again.
I mean, that is a funny chlamydia story.
It is pretty funny. I laughed.
I was surprised they actually had a payoff on that. But.
That is the funniest chlamydia story I've ever heard, no doubt. All right, Carl, have a great week.
You guys are the best. Thanks.
We'll talk to you soon. Thank you.
WATP.
Yeah.